Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Tech King Mike. Welcome back to another episode of Reconnected. So, today we're going to talk about something that is kind of near and dear to me, my love of Android, but we're also going to talk about the problems with Android. And I want to lead off by asking this question. Have you guys ever had a phone that just frustrated you? You know, it just frustrated you. You couldn't explain why, the phone frustrated you. Now, let's say it's because the battery life was crappy, right? Or let's say it's because the screen wasn't that bright. Or let's say it's because the speakers weren't that loud. Or nowadays, I hate that we have to say this, but let's say it was because it didn't have a headphone jack. Let's just say there are reasons why you don't like a device, and it just frustrates you, right? Well, let's also say, have you ever had a device frustrate you because you know what it's capable of, but it falls short and it lacks? Right? Has that ever happened to you before? That's currently happening to me right now, and it's happening with the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, for those of you that don't know about my YouTube channel, I have a YouTube channel, Tech King Mike, Tech_King_Mike, and on that channel, I have these parody skits that I like to do. They're comedy sketches, and 3 of them have been heavily revolved around the OnePlus 7 Pro, and the reason why is because the OnePlus 7 Pro is a device that, for the price and for what you get with the phone, it should be awesome. Should not be anything that I have negative to say about this device. But the fact is, there are so many things I have to say about this device, and it frustrates me, man. It really does. So, number one. Let's just go down the list of the things about the phone that I like first. Number one, the screen. Now, this is a phone with a 90 hertz refresh rate. So for those of you that are not into gaming, for those of you that are not into like smoothness or transitions of a screen or a panel that you're looking at, it basically means that it's the refresh rate of the screen is faster than a normal 60 hertz. So it's almost like when you go to work and you get that 1.5 times pay for overtime. That's pretty much what it's like. It's like you paid for a phone with an overtime screen. Feel me? So it's a really dope device, and it has a really good screen. Second thing I really love about it, the front-facing camera. Now, what makes the screen so awesome is because it's an all-screen display. So there's nothing on the screen. There's no camera punch-out like on Samsung's devices. There's no notch like on Apple devices or other Android devices. It's just a simple, fluid, full display. And I think it's 6.4, 6.5. I know it's pretty big. It's a beefy phone. That's on the con list. We'll talk about that in a second. But I'm just going to say that for now, that is definitely one of the bigger things about the device that I like. So that leads me to the third thing that I really like about the phone is the front-facing camera. The front-facing camera is a motorized camera. That's how they were able to achieve that under display, or that make the screen completely bezel-less. Man, I'm sorry guys, I'm mumbling all over my words. But that's what causes the screen to be as good as it is because of the fact that the device has a camera built into it as a motor. So and the front-facing camera is just, my God, it's amazing. It leads me to the first con that I have, which is the front-facing camera should have went on the back. Now there's a 48 megapixel sensor on the back of the device, and it's not up to par, man. When there are Android devices that you can purchase for half the price of this phone, and this is a cheap Android phone. I know it sounds crazy. I know it might not make sense to you guys, but feel me. $700 for an Android device with these flagship specs, the 855 Snapdragon Qualcomm processor, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of storage. You got the OLED 90 hertz refresh rate. You have the all-screen display with the motorized camera, premium glass and aluminum body build. This phone could easily touch $1,000 depending on what market you're in. So for $700, that's not a bad deal. But when you have cameras on the back of the phone that leave so much lacking, leave so much to be desired, I just don't understand it. Now, I know some people will say it's a user error. Some people will say, well, just download an app and, edit the photo to make it how you want it. Or some people will say, there are phones with better cameras. Go buy one of those phones. Everybody nowadays has a hack for something, right? Everybody has well, if you don't like it, just do this. It's not to get political, but it's the same thing as far as politics go. Well, if you don't like it, vote for somebody else, or if you don't like it, leave. Everybody has their own terminology of how they want to respond to things. But for me, we're not talking about politics. We're not talking about social interactions. We're talking about an item, a phone, a utility that is supposed to work for you the way that you need it to work for you. If you're spending $100, if you're spending $1,000, or in this case $700, you want to know that what you're spending your money on is what you expect. So if I spend $700 on a phone, I expect to be able to do, number one, take good point and shoot photos. Not point and shoot with light editing, not stand and make sure I get the right angle, not make sure there's enough lighting. I want to be able to take good point and shoot video, our cameras, our photos. If I want to be able to take a good video, I want to be able to pull the phone out and do the same. I want to know that the battery's going to last. I want to know that the screen is going to serve my multimedia consumption needs. I want to know that all these things are going to be there for me in the initial purchase. I shouldn't have to go download an extra app. I shouldn't have to go do these types of things just to make sure that it works the way that it's supposed to work. And I just feel like there's an error where we are now in regards to these devices that we're spending all this money on, where people are just saying, oh, well, just deal with it. Or people are saying, oh, well, you'll live. Hey, man, if I'm spending my money, I want to make sure it works good. So that right there is one of the biggest flaws of this device for me. Now, the second thing is, this is a beefy device. Now, I've got it in my hand while I'm talking to you guys because I'm looking at my notes, and I'm just kind of talking to you guys, reading the notes off of the device because I have been using it as my main phone for about a week now. I haven't touched my Huawei device that I carry or any of the other devices that I have, and the phone is just really beefy. Now, the compromise of having that super huge screen was that the phone became kind of hard to manage. Now, people really ragged on Samsung for their power button being as high as it was, but at least the phone was manageable. At least the phone felt good in the hand. This thing is such a great phone when you're sitting down. This thing is such a great phone when you are resting, when you're holding it with both hands. But trying to walk and talk, or trying to walk and text, or trying to just, hold this phone with the pink end at the bottom, whatever maneuver you try to do, it's just a big beefy phone, and it can be kind of frustrating to hold it, especially when that camera pops out, because imagine this thing is very top heavy. You put that camera out, taking a selfie, and you get bumped, and this thing falls out your pocket. Now, or falls out your hand. Of course, there's a feature that'll keep the camera from staying out. It'll protrude back, or it'll come back inside, but it's just kind of frustrating on how big this device can be and how cumbersome it can be compared to something like a Huawei P30 Pro or a Google Pixel 3a XL. It's just kind of crazy to me. But I think it opens up a door for a bigger conversation that we need to start having, which is, what are we willing to and not willing to take when it comes to the smartphone that you carry? I say that to say that. Well, I say that to say that. I say that because a lot of people carry an iPhone. Let's just keep it real. A lot of people carry an iPhone. They carry an iPhone because of iMessage. They carry an iPhone because everybody else has one, so they can FaceTime people. And they carry an iPhone because it's easy to use. But hardcore people, as in hardcore people who really dive deep into their phone, they're really going to try to customize their device. And that's what the Android purists and Android loyalists are. You don't have people who are wanting to change their icon packs. You don't have people who are wanting to make this look different using an iPhone. That's the reason why there's a whole Android market with so many different devices. So you got to get to a point where you ask yourself, if the OnePlus 7 Pro is supposed to be the flagship killer, and this is their new flagship, but we still have these frustrations, well, what do you do or say when it comes to a phone that costs $1,000, like an S10 or an S10 Plus, or like the new upcoming Note 10? We've talked about the Note 10 before. We'll continue to talk about it until it's released, and we'll probably still continue to talk about it even after that, because these phones are getting so expensive, and we're making so many compromises, in my opinion. I just don't understand why we are at a point where we're spending $500, $700, $1,000, $1,200, $1,600. We're spending all this money on these devices up front or over a payment plan, which that's a whole nother Ponzi scheme in my opinion. But we're paying for these phones on these plans, or we're paying for them up front, and then we're getting home and we're being told, oh, I know it's not that bad, or I know it's a little rough, so just download this to make it better. It just, to me, it doesn't justify the cost of the device. It doesn't justify what we're doing. Now, if I'm gonna use a phone as an example, I'm gonna use the Pixel 3a XL. Now, this is a device that costs anywhere from $400 to $480, depending on where you get it from. You can catch it on sale, $100 off, $50 off, or whatever. But the reality is, this device takes really good photos, really good videos. Doesn't have a triple camera or a double camera setup. It has one on the front, one on the back. It has a plastic body build, which feels good in the hand. It's a nice, manageable device with the screen. It's a flat screen. The bezels are there, but I mean, who cares? If you really care about bezels like that, I hate it for you, because I don't know what you're gonna do when they just make phones one big slab of a screen. It's gonna be difficult to not have phantom touches. It's gonna be difficult to not be able to use the device the way you want to, and I just don't see people walking around holding a screen with nothing else to hold on to. That's why they have cases. But another story, another day. I'm gonna stick on point, which is to say that the 3A XL is a device that I feel like we should be giving more credit to, not because it's so cheap, but because it is almost the flagship with no compromises, as opposed to its bigger brother that came out last year in October, the Pixel 3 XL. I know it's confusing. There's a Pixel 3, Pixel 3 XL, then there's a Pixel 3A, 3A XL. There's 4 different versions of the Pixel out right now, but for the money, you're paying almost half the price for the Pixel 3A versus for the Pixel 3 or the Pixel 3 XL, and vice versa. And I know I've said Pixel a lot, but I'm going to keep on talking about it because it's Pixel, Pixel, Pixel. But the point is, we've gotten to this point where, in addition to paying all this money for a phone, in addition to being told that, you just download this and fix it, in addition to having these concerns and these qualms about these devices, the sad reality is that most people are still going to go buy it. They're still going to deal with it. Nobody's going to say this needs to stop. Nobody's going to say we need to fix this. Imagine if carriers took away the payment plans for devices. Let's just think about that for a second. Imagine if carriers decided to say, hey, we're no longer going to let you guys do a next plan. We're tired of people buying the phone and then canceling the contract and not paying us our money. We're tired of people buying the phone, selling it, and not paying us our money. Imagine if carriers just said, we're going to go back to our old ways. You give us $300 up front. You decide to cancel it. You owe us $500. Now, most people are not going to have a problem with that because they're going to go pay for the phone. But do you think these carriers are still going to be charging $1,000? You think they're still going to be charging $700? You think they're going to be charging $1,200? These carriers are only charging what we let them get away with. These companies are only charging what we let them get away with. Samsung and Apple are the prime examples of price increase every year. Every year, the S8, S9, and S10 have gone up a little bit more. Every year, the Note 5, the Note 7, the Note 8, and the Note 9, and now the Note 10 have gone up a little bit more. Same thing with Apple. Apple has gone up a little bit more every year, and that's because they know people are not going to actually pay the full price for these phones. Most people are going to pay $500 into the $1,000 and then trade it in for another phone. So it's like we're always paying for a phone. We're never not paying for it. But I want to end it. I want to end today's episode by saying this. And I want to ask the listeners a question. And I want you guys to reach out to me on my Twitter page. And that's same as the YouTube page, tech_king_Mike. And I want to ask this question of you guys. And I want y'all to tell me how you feel about this. Do you feel like we need to start treating phones the same way that we look at a car? Some people are comfortable paying for a car, but I don't know about you guys. How many of you like to save money? Right? How many of you like to keep money in your pocket? How many of you wish you could keep more money in your pocket? Think about it like this. If you have a car note that's $300 and you have a phone bill that's $30, okay? If you do that math, let's just do the math. 330 times 6. Do that math. I'm not going to do it right now because I don't have a calculator in front of me, but do that math and tell me what you come up with, okay? When you do that, I believe that's about $1,880, if I'm not mistaken. Might be more than that, but I don't want to sound slower than I already am. But if you just take away that $300 a month, you're saving $300 a month. Why is it that we would rather say we'll drive a car around until a car falls apart with no car note because we don't want to pay for a car, but we'll sacrifice $30 to $50 or more dollars a month for a phone? What's the difference? The way I understand it, saving money is saving money. So that's my question to you guys. I want to know, why do you think people continue to pay for phones when they could just buy them outright? Or why do you think people are not fans of buying them outright? So get back to me on my Twitter. Let me know what you guys think. I appreciate you listening. We'll see you guys in the next episode. We're gonna try to start getting these episodes out on a weekly basis. So stay tuned for more episodes of Reconnected. Until then, I truly appreciate you listening. Have a blessed day, blessed week. For those of you listening, whenever you're listening to this, I hope your day is going good and I hope it continues to go well. You woke up today, which means it was another day for you to be great. If you're listening to this at night, I hope you rest well, and I hope when you wake up tomorrow, it's another gift and another day for you to be great. Y'all have a good one. I will catch you guys in the next one.